again. Okay, this one is about Mercury retrograde. In Western astrology, the planet Mercury represents communication, travel, words. It represents your neighborhood, because Mercury natural placement is house 3 and house 6, which is your 24 hours. Yeah. It also represents communication, negotiations. So when Mercury goes retrograde, which it did yesterday, October 14 until November 3rd, this next month, this year. So when it goes retrograde, it means you can expect a delay or a miscommunication, or basically in a nutshell, a fuck up in all these areas. So a miscom in work basically means a fuck up at work. So someone passed an instruction from A to B, and then B said yes, received, but B forgot to do, or B overlooked, or B did it half-baked. So mistakes happen, oversights happen. So that's an example. Or let's say you are in negotiation with someone to do some business together, and then that person says, well, yes, agree to everything, but basically you have to remember it's a Mercury retrograde, which basically means this person is going to come back to you and renegotiate the terms. This one is no horse run, bo bei zhao. So you still have to work, right? Not Mercury goes into retrograde 3 to 4 times a year. Each time is about roughly 2 weeks, slightly more than 2 weeks. But the thing is that you have to work, ma. You cannot just sit at home and be in solitude all the time, right? You have to work, you have to talk to people, you have to talk to suppliers, you have to talk to clients. So basically, in a nutshell, be patient. It's like Mercury retrograde in terms of party studies is something like Fan Tai Sui. You have to be more patient, you have to give time, you have to give situations and things more time to yield a result. So it's not like you want something and you get it right now. It doesn't work that way. You have to give it due time. Example, pregnancy is 9 months, ma. You cannot insist that a baby comes out at 5 months, right? That's a preemie baby. A preemie baby, a lot of problem. So a Mercury retrograde basically means give your project time. Take your time in discussions. Make sure that things are clear. Don't do half-baked. Don't just yes, boss everything, and then after that it just goes phew, because that will lead to a lot of problems in the future. Okay, so that's Mercury retrograde. So of course, in terms of travel, because house 3 is also about travel, Mercury natural placement in house 3, which is short distance travel. So short distance travel basically means that domestic. So in some countries, like let's say Europe, you have domestic flights. Malaysia, you have domestic flights. In Singapore, we don't have. we don't have a flight to nowhere either. But when it comes to talking about short distance travel, then it's inter-country lah, intra-towns lah, you know. So intra-town transport will break down. And in fact, I think last night our MRT had a glitch. So yesterday was the start of Mercury retrograde. So expect some delays here and there. Give some room for that, yeah. And no point getting frustrated, because if you get frustrated, your blood will boil. Again, it's the same as Party Fan Tai Sui or Party 6 Clash. Patience. You know, you need to learn to yam. Patience. Because if you don't do that, your blood pressure is going to shoot through the roof. There's nothing you can do to wipe Mercury retrograde away, ma. That means it's there already, right now. So lun, Chinese say ren. So yeah, be more patient. Give lots of room for misunderstandings, miscommunications. Take trouble to iron things out. Don't just assume that the summary is correct. Don't just assume that the minutes of the meeting is correct. Go through it, read it, make sure everybody understands what they're supposed to be doing, and then get it done. Okay, now Mercury retrograde is from October 14, which was yesterday, until November 3rd. It doesn't mean that November 3rd on the dot it stops. There will always be a overflow and a precursor. So for example, October 14 was the first day of Mercury retrograde. Does it mean that at October 14 midnight exactly, when October 13 becomes October 14, is when Mercury retrograde starts? Not necessarily. You might actually feel its energies a few days before that already. Okay, so a retrograde basically means go back and do it again. So it doesn't matter which planet retrograde, because all of them are retro. When that planet is retro, go back and do that again. Okay? So if Saturn is in retro, it means go back and get organized again. You use the keyword for the planet, makes it retrograde, which means go back, do that again. So Mercury in retrograde, go back, renegotiate again. Go back, discuss again. Go back, sort it out again. Go back, think your thoughts again. So all this is travel. Mercury is also travel, so go back and sort out your travel plans again. So if we were to be doing traveling, right, it basically means that you can expect delays, lost luggage, lost passport, that kind of thing. So it doesn't mean don't travel, it just means exercise more care over and concern over your belongings. Now luggage loss is different, it's okay, you can get it replaced, there's only clothes inside that, souvenirs, trinkets, your insurance will cover that. I do hope you travel with travel insurance, yeah. Now the thing about traveling is that your passport must be on your person always, for several reasons. Number one, if you're in Japan, for example, you get tax-free purchases, right, for foreigners, so you need to produce your passport. Second thing is that if you were in a country where there's a riot and you need to get to the airport like immediately, you can just go. You don't need to go back to your hotel, pick up your passport and then go out. Your passport is a document that must be with you always. Okay, so that's Mercury retrograde. I hope it makes things clearer, because some of the people I know, they were asking me to explain again what Mercury retrograde is. So there you go. Have a good day, guys. Bye.